My name is Clara Bennett. I am 32 years old and I work at St Mary's Hospital in Dublin, Ireland. I am a nurse. I take care of people who are sick. Sometimes I work during the day, sometimes at night. My job is hard, but I love it. When I help someone feel better, it gives me peace. A year ago, I had no boyfriend. I lived alone in a small apartment near the hospital. After work, I often went to see my mother. She lives in a quiet village outside the city. She is old and needs help, so I cleaned her house, brought her food, and made tea for her. We talked about small things, the weather, the neighbors, the past. My life was calm, but it was also lonely. Then, one morning, everything began to change. A new doctor came to work at our hospital. His name was Ethan Collins. He was 30 years old, tall, with soft brown hair and gentle blue eyes. He was always smiling. Everyone liked him. The nurses talked about him all the time. They said, "He's so kind," or "He's so handsome." I saw him too, but I never thought he would notice me. I am not slim. I don't wear makeup. I keep my hair simple and wear old shoes. I work hard. That's my life. I thought a man like him would never look at a woman like me, but he did. One morning he smiled and said, "Good morning." I smiled back and said, "Good morning." The next day he smiled again and asked, "How are you?" I said, "I'm fine, thank you." After that, he talked to me every day. He asked about my family, my work, my life. He said nice things. One day, he brought me coffee. He said, "You look tired. You deserve this." I felt something warm inside me, but I only said, "Thank you." One night, I finished work late. The buses had stopped. Ethan came outside and said, "Do you need a ride home?" I said yes. His car was clean and smelled nice. We talked all the way to my apartment. He told me about his city life, and I told him about my mother. It felt easy. After that night, he often drove me home. Sometimes he brought me tea. Sometimes we sat together during lunch breaks. He made me laugh. I started waiting for him. I started liking him. One weekend, he asked, "Do you want to see a movie?" I said yes. After the movie, we walked by the river. The night was cold, but my heart felt warm. He looked at me softly, and for the first time in a long time, I felt beautiful. But then, everything changed again. A few days later, he asked me to meet him in the hospital cafe. He looked serious. I asked, "Is something wrong?" He said quietly, "Clara, I need to tell you something. I'm married." The world stopped. My hands turned cold. I said nothing. He said, "Please, let me explain." He told me his wife's name, Rachel. They had no children. He said they lived together, but not with love. He said, "When I talk to you, I feel alive again." I didn't know what to say. My heart hurt. Why didn't he tell me before? Why did he smile at me that way? That night, I couldn't sleep. I turned in bed, thinking about him and his wife. I liked him, but I didn't want to be someone's secret. I didn't want to hurt another woman. The next week, I saw him at the supermarket. He was with her, his wife. She was beautiful, long hair, nice clothes, a soft laugh. They looked happy. I froze. Then I walked away. When I got home, I cried. I felt small, like I didn't matter. The next day, I told him, I saw you with your wife. He looked sad. He said, I don't love her anymore. I love you. But I couldn't believe him. I still saw that picture in my mind, them smiling together. I said, you have to choose who you want to be. He said, please wait for me. I said, no, fix your life for yourself, not for me. I walked away. That night, I cried into my pillow. It hurt, but I also felt strong. I had chosen honesty. Days passed. I stopped waiting for him. Work felt quiet, but I started smiling again. My best friend, Emma, said, you are not second place. You are enough. Her words stayed with me. Months later, I met someone new. His name was Daniel. He was a teacher. He came to visit his mother at the hospital. We talked a few times, and he always smiled kindly. One morning, he brought me coffee and said, you work hard. You deserve this. It reminded me of Ethan, but this time it felt different. There were no lies, no secrets, just peace. When his mother went home, he said, can I see you again? I smiled. Yes, I'd like that. We met for coffee, then again and again. He listened when I spoke. He never rushed things. No promises, no drama, just honesty. One evening, I told him about Ethan. He said, you did the right thing. You respected yourself. I felt tears in my eyes. He was right. Months later, Daniel moved closer to Dublin. He said, I want to be near my mother and near you. I smiled. I didn't feel afraid. I felt ready. He brought me small yellow flowers and said, these are happy flowers, like your smile. And this time, I believed him. Ethan never came back. I don't know what happened to his marriage, but his story in my life was over. I still remember the woman I was, the one who waited for messages, who smiled at coffee and forgot her worth. I still love her. She was kind. She just didn't know her own light. Now she does. And she walks forward, not waiting to be chosen, but choosing herself. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and share. More emotional and inspiring stories are coming soon.